It's William here, and um, hi. Sorry I'm a little late. Um, I keep looking at. So I think maybe Andrew took my tripod today. I'm not 100% sure. Um, I don't remember moving it this morning, but I can't find it. And normally it stays in this room. So I don't know if he moved it somewhere in the house at some point, or if he took it with him because he needed it today for something. I have no idea. And he's on the road, I think, so I can't actually. I messaged him, but because if he didn't take it, then I need to look around the house and figure out where it might have gone, or if he put it somewhere this morning. So my phone is flipped the other way, so I normally look here, which I can see myself, and it makes it look like I'm looking at the camera. But now I have to look over here, and I can't actually see myself when I do that. I can read all of your comments, so if you keep me busy, um, I'll keep looking in the right place. But when I look over where I normally look, it looks like I'm not looking at the camera at all. So hopefully this looks like I'm at least looking at the camera. So because I found this stand, it's very rickety. We are going to have an interesting time today with this stand because it is barely holding together. Like, it's a stand that I threw in a drawer because it started falling apart, and I've kind of patched it together and made it work. It's very it's very unsure of itself, and I'm unsure of it right now. So um, Andrew, I don't know when he's going to get back. He's either out of service or he's driving, probably, because he's not answering. At least I don't think he sent anything through yet to let me know if he has the stand or if it's somewhere else. I'm kind of hoping it's somewhere else in the house because I don't know when he's getting home. And I don't know how this is going to happen when I flip. Oh, there's Andrew. I don't know if this. I guess he said sorry, so I guess he has it. I'm guessing. Um, Unless he just moved it. Hopefully he just moved it somewhere in the house. But hello Susie, hello Kimberly, hello Pam. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you all here. Um, yeah, so I'm working on a like, I have the cable that plugs in my phone, which is kind of holding up my phone to a point because the stand is wobbly and the stand's at an angle like this, so the phone is tilted. It's a little wild today. But how are you all doing? It's been, I was at the store today. Andrew says I had a Zoom and took it. Oh boy, so you do have it. All right. Um, I was go. Well, I already had this stuff at the house. I was thinking about stopping at the cottage on my way home, but I wouldn't have known to grab that anyway. But it's all right. This will work for now. How far away are you, Andrew? How long do I have to talk before I get my stand in here that I can flip my camera? This is the question. Um, no, I think I made this work. I think if we flip the camera, I think I can make this work, even if you're still down there. So don't worry too much. But this is a very it's a very precarious stand. Um, you would think, Mr. Technology here, that I would have more than one tripod around, but that is a negative. I'm usually um, very low on tripods all the time. 35 minutes. All right. I talk for that long anyway. Um, then we can switch cameras and switch layouts. Um, anyway, so I was at the store today. I took pictures of some of the stuff that we did yesterday. If you sent me an email about any of that, I've not gotten to those yet. I haven't even really checked a lot of my email. I forgot all of my other devices today, so that was not entirely great either. So we yeah, it was I had some errands to do this morning, so I left the house a little bit early and ran around and did some things. And um, I totally ran out without my laptop or my iPad. Usually I take my iPad because it's cellular and I don't have to hotspot my phone, which drains the battery super quickly. So I use my iPad when I'm at the store because we don't have internet in the store. So I use my iPad, which has cellular, and it's like an unlimited plan, so why not? And I totally ran out the door without it today. And so I was on my phone most of the day, which means my phone died pretty quickly. So I was like tethered um, because I had to keep charging my phone. Um, so I did some pictures of some of the things we worked on yesterday, and just kind of did a reel and did some pictures of that. And I really didn't check a lot of email. I was packing some orders, and so that's kind of what's been going on here. Um, not a lot. And I know I have some orders. Some of you sent in earlier today, so I need to get through some of those and see if we still have the things that are available. Um, but I literally, um, I was at the store until 6. I left. I left at like 6. I had the store packed up. I had all my stuff ready to go. Left at like 6 o'clock. Got home. First I had to go grocery shopping because I've been trying to um, make sure that we have stuff for food every night, because I know Andrew's been super tired. So I've been trying to um, do a lot of the cooking and just planning all of that so that he doesn't have to worry about it. And so I ran and got groceries, and I wasn't sure what I was going to make. I decided on stir fry. So that took a little bit longer than I wanted because, you got to decide. It's not easy to decide what to make for dinner sometimes. And so I'm going to make some stir fry later. And then I got home and I started. Um, I took Barnaby out for 10 minutes. I told him, I said, Barnaby, you have 10 minutes. It ended up being 8 minutes by the time I got everything together. He got 8 minutes outside. But it was starting to thunderstorm. And so everybody was nervous about that. And then got him inside. And then the girls tried to run out the door. And Idabelle darted out. So I had to gather everybody up and got them inside. And then I came up here and was getting ready for the live, and I realized the stand was gone. So that's been my day. I had a few kids come in the store today. That was pretty cute. They came in, neighborhood kids, looking around at stuff and asking questions. But mostly it was packing and shipping today, doing some reels for social media. Taking pictures of things from yesterday to try to get some people interested in some of the vintage stuff, which I think is super cool. And we're going to do more of it today. I think I'm a little discombobulated, so we'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. How are you all doing out there? Everybody having a good day? Please hit the share button on this. Whenever I posted it earlier, something weird was happening. I don't know if the banner ever came up. I couldn't find it. I just realized that I usually use my iPad for a lot of stuff, or my desktop when I'm at the cottage. And on both of those devices, Facebook has a live video tab, separate from the video tab. The phone does not. So I was not able to actually share the kind of preset live video that I made until a little bit after I made it. A good bit after I made it, I finally found a way to find it. And I had to do that through our streaming service. And so it's not something I got out there, I think, and it didn't share with the banner, at least at first. I don't know if it has since. I've not even looked. I've not even been online. So I don't know if it actually shared with the banner, so nobody could really, it was like this little thing. So hardly anybody would see it. So please share. Let people know we're out there. Our numbers have been lower lately, especially in the beginning of the videos. Maybe people don't like the talking. I don't know. I kind of like the talking, but maybe people don't. Yeah, it's not even it's telling me we're live, but it's not showing the normal live like it normally does. Normally the live pops right up on our page. It's not doing that. Andrew says, do you want to come assist me in class tomorrow? We'll talk about it. I don't know. Um, maybe. I didn't. I don't have anybody that said they're coming up to the shop specifically tomorrow. I had somebody that was going to pick up stuff, but I think they're on a vacation this weekend, so maybe, um, maybe that might work. Um, yeah, and so yeah, what's everybody doing out there? Well, Norma's here. Hello, Norma. Thank you for joining us. Um, what's everybody been up to? How's everybody doing today? How's your day going? I keep looking over. I'm just used to looking over here, so I'm trying to look over here, everybody, where it looks like I'm actually looking and talking to you and with you. Um, but my day has been a little bit scattered, but good. I've had a good day. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff done. I felt like I was productive today. Not in all the areas I wanted to be, but got some stuff done, which is nice. And it's starting to rain and thunder. It's at least thundering and lightning. I saw some lightning out there. Um, so I hope nothing happens to, knock on wood, nothing happens to electricity or internet here. Pam says, good day thus far. Uh, don't go grocery shopping when hungry. Lost my list, so there were added extras. Yep. Um, that I ever really stick to the list. Yeah. I I don't really. Sometimes I prepare, but like I only know how to make a few things. Like I'm not a super good cook. I make what I make, and I try new things once in a while. But um, they're like certain things that I kind of feel like I'm okay at, and so whenever I go to the grocery store, I try and sometimes try to think of new things, but I usually end up with the same kind of things. Um, and so trying to figure out today, because like I said, Andrew's been going to classes all this week, so I've been trying to make different things all week. Yesterday was the replay night where we just had leftovers, but I've been trying to make up different things so nobody gets bored or has to eat the same thing over and over this week. And I was like, I don't know what I can make. We've had pasta already. I forget what I made. I made potatoes, and I think we had burgers at one point, chicken burgers, regular burgers. Um, I made a potato and kind of egg, kind of and vegetable, kind of omelet sort of thing. And so I was like running out of options. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do stir fry. I haven't done stir fry in a while, so I got stuff for that. Um, and even though that takes a lot of cutting, it takes a lot of time. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that because it takes a lot of time to cut up everything. But I do like it, and it'll feel lighter. With all the pasta the last 2 nights, because it was replay night. With the pasta, I've been feeling heavy, you know. So I had a salad for lunch today, um, and then hello Anna, thanks for joining us. Um, so yeah, that was what I'm doing, stir fry. What are y'all having for dinner? I should go online. I should do a live just asking people what they're having for dinner when I need to make decisions on what to make for dinner. We should have this conversation like an hour before the live or an hour and a half before the live starts, so that I can talk about that, get your input on what you're having for dinner, and then go grocery shopping. Because the stuff you all make always sounds good, and it's not stuff I would think about. I need to take notes so that I have like, what's tomorrow's dinner? Something someone here ate today. um, that's what I really feel like most of the time is what I should do. I don't know why I don't. Boy, it's really lightning out, and I hear the thunder rumbling. Um, Gilbert's really the only cat in the house that gets too put off by the thunder, and he's even been okay today. He has his calming collars, and we have calming um, plugins in the walls, so I think that helps him. If it gets too bad, though, then he usually runs under the bed. But the girls, they don't even know. It's like you couldn't tell it was storming They have no fear. And Barnaby's never been that afraid of it at all either. Pam says, I'll be over for stir fry ASAP. You can come over ASAP, but I hope you're not too close because it's nowhere near done. It's right now sitting, most of it is still sitting in bags in the kitchen counter. So I kind of ran in the house, and that's as far as it got. I put the frozen stuff. I bought some frozen vegetables to add to the mushrooms and I got mushrooms, peppers, celery, carrots. I think that's it. Mushrooms, pepper. Oh, and zucchini. And then I bought a bag of stir fry mix because sometimes it has like the water chestnuts and the sugar snap peas, and I like to add those a little bit. But it is going to take a while to get that done. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and you can see my finger also as I scroll through the comments because my camera's on this other side. Hey, we're making it work today. Make it work, right? Tim Gunn. Love Tim Gunn. Hopefully he's doing okay. He's still with us, right? Norma had leftover quiche and a leftover potato skin. Nice. I almost bought potatoes again. We've had potatoes a few times this week in various dishes. I almost bought potatoes again, but I wasn't sure if Andrew was going to want potatoes again. But I could eat potatoes like every single day of the week, I think. I guess there was this guy, I think he was head of the potato lobby or whatever they call them. Lobbyist potato something. What do they call that in government? Anyway, head of some potato organization. And I think he lived on only potatoes for a month or two to prove that they were nutritious enough that a person could sustain themselves on only potatoes. Of course, they say, like, you should not do this. But I guess he was fine. And he lived on potatoes for that long, and just potatoes, only potatoes, no other food but a potato. So that gives me hope that if I do go into a phase where I eat potatoes every day, it'll be all right. I'll be okay. Let's see here. Pam says, I like pork chops with rice and gravy. That sounds good. That sounds good. What kind of gravy do you put on your pork chops? I used to like pork chops. They were good. I never really did them, I don't think, much with gravies. Like sauces, like a kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a sweet sauce I used to like. It's pretty good. They say hello, Suzanne. Hello, Suzanne. My mind is flying right now. And nope, I'd have to hire a Learjet, right? Yeah. I'm back to my bottle of juice today, by the way. No fancy cup today. Didn't have time for that. I have my warm juice water from sitting on my desk all day at the store. Hello, Donna. Thank you for joining. Had a salad for supper. Nice. I had one of the Asian salads for lunch today. I think I told you I was going to take that today. And I did. And it was good. It was a good thing I took it because I got really hungry through part of my day. So it was good to have a salad. And I took a banana and an apple too. Those are kind of my staples. Like, I take a banana and apple almost every day. I usually buy them for the weekend, and I try to have them on hand so that I can take them, because I don't really eat breakfast. I don't leave myself enough time in the mornings. I even got up earlier today, and I still didn't leave myself enough time to eat. But I still try to have, like, I like to have a banana and an apple. And sometimes I don't eat them till lunchtime, but a lot of times one of those two things will get eaten on the drive to work. But yeah, you gotta put something in your stomach a little bit. I love potatoes, especially mashed potatoes, says Pam. Mashed is probably one of my, I don't want to say it's one of my least favorite ways to make a potato, but it might be. I do love a good like, some people make they make a good mashed potato. But sometimes the mashed potatoes are just kind of like, eh. And like, I'll take a good roasted potato, because usually, even if it's hard to mess up a roasted potato, I feel like. Like, as long as you throw some spice on it, and put a little bit of oil on it or something, like you do the basic with a roasted potato and throw it in the oven. As long as you don't like char it too much, um, it's hard to mess up a roasted potato, and they're usually really good. But mashed potatoes, that takes a little bit of doing. I feel like maybe it's just because I don't know. I'm not great at making them myself, so maybe that's why they intimidate me a little bit. But mashed potatoes, they're good. I like it like a twice baked, where you kind of bake it and then you mash it up inside. Those are good too. Let's see here. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Other Susie. Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra. Suzanne says, "Did you get all your errands done?" Yeah, the ones I absolutely, kind of needed to, they got done, so that's good. I was happy about that, and I only got to work like 10 minutes late, and so that was really good. I was proud of myself because I didn't know how long things would take, so I was happy about that. Gravy from the pork chop drippings, that's the way to do it, right? Norma says, a lot of people lived on mostly potatoes during World War II. The woman I work for in Germany showed me her mother's handwritten cookbook of all the recipes she made from potatoes, including cakes. Ooh. Do you have a copy of that? I would love to see a copy of that. Can you get a copy of that? I would love to see lots of potato recipes, different ways of doing potatoes, because I love them so much. That would be great. Anybody else got anything like that? We've always talked about we need to do like an allegory gallery cookbook of everybody's recipes and stuff, your favorite recipes, and gather them together and stuff like that. I think that would be fun. Let's see here. Suzanne says, over-baked potato, yum, or oven-baked potato, yum. Over-baked sometimes too. I do like them when they get a little bit, when they're not quite crunchy, but they get kind of almost chewy, like the skin gets a little bit chewy from being baked a little long. That's what I like. I like them when they get like that, because they almost also kind of turn a little bit more sweet at that point. Yes. Oven baked, very good. I have been using the air fryer. I love making those little petite potatoes. I cut them up and put them in the air fryer. So good. And I can make them. The last time I made them, they were a little bit chewy like that, and I liked it a lot. Andrew says, I love potatoes in all forms. Yeah, me too. Me too. Norma says, I wish I did have a copy. I only saw it once in 1977. Oh, I was hoping maybe you took some notes or something. That would be awesome. Yeah, because I would love some. I'm sure there are tons of potato recipes out there, but I don't know. There's something to be said for those kind of recipes that were born out of necessity like that. And sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not so great, but I'm sure there are tons of potato recipes for different things. But then you have to look, and when they're all gathered in one place already, and they've been tested a little bit, and they got people through a hard time, it's kind of I like that. But yeah, so that's really, yeah. Anyway, talking about potatoes, what are we going to get into next? I have kind of a mess on my desk, and I've been trying to see here. Oh, that's a. So that's that. Somebody asked about those. And what is 31? Trying to see what people are asking for here. Oh, good, I can do that. All right. So I need to set this aside. I need to set this aside. But other than that, all the stuff from yesterday, I can clear off. Because I usually clear off the desk. I pack the orders up. I sort the orders. I shouldn't say I pack anything. I sort all of your orders, usually the night of the live. And so I sorted everything out yesterday. That's part of the whole new scheme of things. Everything gets sorted out after the lives. unless for some reason, like we're at the cottage and we have to run home or anything like that. And that way, everybody's order is in a bag of their own, and then it just needs to be wrapped in tissue and sent out. That's the goal. Trying to get faster at this, trying to build in new ways of doing things that make things faster for you all to get your stuff. And so normally I check the next day and tally up anything that anybody may have done in the rewatch, and then I'm able to put the lots away. And today, because everything's been running, I've been running a little ragged today, I did not get a chance to do that. So that's what I'm doing right now as I tell you what I'm doing. So don't mind me as I organize while I'm talking to you all. Pam says, ooh, your air fried potatoes sound good. I buy the, oops, sorry, my thing's frozen kind. Yeah, I've been buying the little, those little petite potatoes at the grocery store. They have a mixed variety. Like they have the purple ones, and then they have the small yellow ones, and then they have the red ones, and then they have a bag that's all three of those all mixed together. And I buy that one because I like all the different kinds of potatoes. They all taste a little different, you know? And then I take them and I cut them up and put them in a bowl. I usually just half them, sometimes quarter them, but I've been halving them lately. And you half them through the thickest part so that they're thinner and they cook faster, right? And then put them in a bowl, and then put some oil in there to make sure everything sticks to them that you put in there. And then I put a good amount of salt, and then I put onion powder and garlic powder and cayenne pepper. And we have this, Andrew got this kind of umami seasoning, and I don't even know what all's in the umami seasoning, but it's pretty good. So I put that in there. It's like an Italian umami or something. Garlic and onion, garlic Italian. I don't know what it is, but I put that in there too. And then I usually put in a little bit of oregano and a little bit of thyme, I think. And I mix all that up with the potatoes and make sure it's nice and oily so it sticks to the potatoes. Oh, and pepper too, regular pepper. And then throw it in the air fryer at 400 for about 22 minutes. And that does one little bag of potatoes, and it gets it to that point where they're kind of a soft. They're very soft, not too soft, but then they're also a little bit chewy, and that's what I like. Norma says, I like to boil baby red skin potatoes, then smash them flat, fry them, and eat with salt, ketchup, and sour cream. Ooh, that sounds good too. That's a good idea. I haven't thought about smashing them in a long time. That sounds really good. Yes, and then when mine are done, I usually do put ketchup on them. I do like to eat them with ketchup. And sometimes sour cream if we have it, but I don't always think to get sour cream. Norma says, whole and skin on. Yeah, you gotta do the skins. The skins are good. That's the good part. I like when the skins get chewy. That's the good part for me, anyway. But yeah. So, what do you all think? Are y'all ready for some more vintage tonight? Do you want to do the vintage tonight? Are you happy with that choice? Because we can shift gears if y'all don't like the vintage stuff. I just kind of thought that might be a good thing to do because I don't know. I thought y'all seemed to like it last night, and I think Andrew should be here soon to help me out. So we'll start with some of the vintage I have prepared, and then we can dive into more of like some of our vintage check glass strands and stuff. Suzanne says, sure, but I'm just glad to be here. Well, we're glad you're here too. I hope you're doing well. How's the painting prep going? Have we started painting yet? Not yet. Pam says, yum, I'll try this. Yeah, it's there. I'm making myself want a potato now. Leah's here, says, love vintage. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. If anybody is here and they missed yesterday's show, we did a lot of vintage yesterday. And a lot of it is still left because we have a lot of it. Some of these lots we have a lot of each one. So if you're looking for something, we probably, I mean, there's a good chance that we have something from yesterday if you're looking. Oh, Suzanne says we actually started today. Nice. You said I missed it. Yes. Check back over, watch yesterday's video. You can still claim from yesterday. I also put out some pictures today of some of the things on our Facebook timeline and our Instagram account of some of the things that we showed yesterday. Not everything. We did 50 lots yesterday, so 50 different vintage things. We had metal, we had vintage plastic, we had check glass, and I think we're going to have a little bit of maybe all of that again today. So it's going to be fun. I hope you'll enjoy it. Yeah, and maybe I'll take a look through, since some of y'all weren't here yesterday. Maybe we'll take a quick look again at some of the things yesterday and do a quick run through. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But you can always watch the replay. That's the easiest way not to bore everybody else who may have tuned in yesterday. Although I know it was a long episode, so people may have zoned out anyway. Suzanne says that was a good video. Good. I'm glad you liked it. Let's see here. Kimberly says, I'm trying to decide what to make for dinner myself. Maybe it's a go to town and get Jimmy John's night. I almost thought about picking up either frozen pizza or picking up like Impossible Whoppers somewhere. But I was like, for the amount of money I'm going to spend on those, I can make a good meal. So let's just go ahead and get this stuff. Because we were out of like everything. So I got celery. We were out of celery completely. We were out of carrots completely. We were out of peppers completely. We were out of onions completely. So I stocked up for the next few days on that stuff. So sometimes the grocery bill always is like, you know. But it's not like we don't spend a lot at once. But we spend like on groceries almost every day. But I have to remember and remind myself that those things last. Like I got soy sauce and I got rice wine vinegar. That stuff lasts more than just this one day. Because I'm like, I just walked out with like $50 worth of stuff, and if that's how much our meal is going to cost tonight, I could have just gone out to eat. But that wasn't just for tonight at least. But yeah. Anyway, you know how it is. Trying to be on a budget, right? Not really, but really. A recap is okay, says Suzanne. Yeah, I might do a little one. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how close Andrew is to being here. It'll help if he's able to, and I don't have to. It'll be good if I don't have to flip the camera around on this stand. So I'm kind of waiting to see. Are you still out there, Andrew? How far are you away? So I'm kind of delaying everyone. Kind of, what's the word? Not postponing. Words. Sometimes words don't come to me anymore. I can speak 3 languages, but I can't figure out the word I'm looking for in any of them. Anyway. Stalling. Thank you, Suzanne. I had a word. I'm trying to think of a word with like a B. I'm like, there's no B in that word. Stalling. I'm stalling for time. That's exactly what I'm doing. So help me stall for time, anyone. Tell me about your day. What's going on? How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? Sandra, everything okay? Hopefully your pain is still alleviated a little bit. I know you were having issues. And that was something I talked about. I got in touch with Marianne today because I was concerned. I mentioned it yesterday. I feel like we haven't seen Marianne in a while. And she said she does lurk sometimes on the videos, but she's doing well. So she's okay. And that's all that I wanted to make sure that, when we don't hear from somebody in a while, even if it's just like a few days, sometimes to me it feels like a long time, especially if you're somebody who comments a lot or watches very often, and we start noticing that you're not there day after day. It makes me nervous. So she is doing well for anybody who was concerned. Suzanne got a tattoo. What'd you get a tattoo of? That's big news. That's big news. You got to tell us this stuff. We like to be in the know with what our friends are doing. What kind of tattoo did you get today? Started painting and got a tattoo. That's a good day. That's a good day. I'm kind of, part of me wants to get a tattoo. A medieval demon. See, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah, I like that idea. Because I thought for a while, I considered being a medievalist because I took some medieval French classes, and I sort of kind of got into some of the medieval French literature. And at one point, I thought I might be a medievalist, so that's kind of really cool. I kind of want a tattoo, but I kind of don't. Like, I still have a really hard time with permanency of things like that. But as I'm getting older, I'm also caring less about that. But I also hear that once you get one, it makes you like, you just become addicted to them, and you want more and more and more. And then I'm like, oh, but I can't do that right now. I have other things I need to spend my money on, and I can't become addicted to another thing right now. But I kind of still want mine. Cooking for one isn't fun, says Pam, so convenience foods are helpful. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I kind of like cooking. And sometimes I cook the most when Andrew's away. Sometimes I also just get ramen and eat like totally crappy foods while he's gone. Because I don't, we eat a good bit like for dinner. We don't eat most any other time of the day generally. So I feel like I'm always eating a lot for dinner. And sometimes when he's away, I just don't feel like eating, so I don't eat a lot as much. Or I'll have lunch instead. But yeah, sometimes I like to cook by myself, but I can also see how if you were doing it every day, like that's kind of a rare occasion. It's not going to be rare for July because Andrew's going to be gone most of July, but it's kind of a rare occasion. Oh, so get ready for me on the lives most of the time in July because Andrew's going to be gone. But I do, I have nothing against convenience foods. I think convenience foods are perfectly fine if you like them and it's healthy enough for you. That's good. We get frozen pizzas sometimes. We get other frozen things. Most of our veggie burgers and stuff are all kind of convenience foods. Usually we do a little bit more with them, but you could just slap them in the microwave. We've done that before too. Get some bread, get some cheese, tomatoes, slap them in the microwave, done. Yeah, definitely not. Most things aren't completely from scratch that we make. Not me, anyway. Sue says, it's been a long week for whatever reason. I started a new medication and it's kicking my butt. I'm really excited to be able to get some rest this weekend. Nice. Yeah. New medications can be, depending on what they are, especially, right? I'm still, so I'm on a medication that slows my heart rate because I was in rapid AFib, and they don't know if without this I would have ever come out of rapid AFib, I guess. I kind of would like to be taken off of it to see, but I also kind of know that my stress levels may not be conducive to that. So it's probably maybe better that I stay on it. I hate to be on things I don't need to be. I'm one of those people, but I also know that it did help me. But it also makes me exceptionally tired. And if y'all know me, I don't drink caffeine. So a lot of the time, I'm running around pretty tired. And I sleep more than I used to, but I also have thyroid disorders. So that can make you tired. So I have to make sure that those levels are in check. And even when they are, I'm still, kind of tired from that. So I know how switching and adding new things cannot be easy. So I send you good energy and hope you do get some rest this weekend. Norma says, I don't know where today went. It was morning, then suddenly it was 5. I did almost nothing. I did do some reading to finish up my last squares of my library bingo card. Nice. Did you do a ukulele lesson? But yeah, no, today was a weird day. I was up earlier than normal. I did some things, and I don't know. I feel like while the day was going on, it felt like it was a pretty long day, and then there was one point when the day was just gone. Like I have to pack up. I have to go home. So yeah, I agree. It was a very strange timed day. Suzanne says tattoos, they are addictive. That's what I've heard. Susie says it's true. One tattoo isn't enough. See, this is what I don't know. Because I know they're not inexpensive either. Not if you want it done by somebody who's good, right? Yeah, so I don't know. Although I think Andrew was talking about doing tattoos at one point. Might be cheaper to buy the tattooing gun and just have Andrew do it for me. How about that? We'll do a live. Andrew tattoos me. Kimberly says, I decided to go set up at a little market on Sunday, so I've been making little easy adjustable bracelets that I can sell for under $20. That's nice. That's nice. You're going to get out and do a little market. Hopefully it goes well for you. You'll have to let us know on Monday how everything went. Andrew says, there he said, we could get a gun and I could learn to tattoo. See? I didn't even see that comment before I said it. We're planning it already. Susie, our neighbor, says, I want a dragonfly tattoo and my dad's signature. Never had a tattoo. That was another thing I was thinking, because I would love to have my grandmother's and my grandfather's signatures. I think that would be cool. And, my grandfather, I never saw him sign a lot of things. But anytime he did, his signature was very, like, he took his time. Like, I just scribble my signature. That's pretty much what happens. I scribble it out, and that's what happens. But he would sit and he would write very slowly and very, like, with purpose. He would sign things. And I always liked that. And so I think having his signature and my grandmother's signature would be nice as a tattoo. Dragonflies, I like dragonflies too. Maybe a cicada tattoo? I've really been into cicadas lately. Suzanne says, Susan, a dragonfly was my first tattoo. Nice. And says, oh yes, ramen. I looked at it and went on by. Some ramen's really good. I have nothing against ramen. It gets a bad rap. It's probably not that nutritional, right? But it is delicious sometimes. Even the cheapest ramen you can find is sometimes just hits the spot. And there's particularly one that's made by Cup of Noodle. They make ramen now, and it's a Thai chili, and it has no meat. Because you have to watch. If you're a vegetarian, or you just don't want to eat meat, many of the soy, even the soy-flavored ramens, have a beef or chicken stock in them. So, or in the powder, it's beef or chicken. So there's one brand of, and I can't remember if it's Nissan or Manchurian. I think it's Manchurian, but I can't remember for sure. Their soy is a vegetarian soy, and it's usually marked on the package vegetarian. But the other brand, their soy is not. And so the Cup of Noodle, the Thai chili, that particular one is also vegetarian. And I think neither of those two have MSG, which is something that's added to a lot of them too. And that can be bad, apparently, for people with AFib. I love me some MSG. I had no problem with it before. I don't have a problem with the taste. I think it's good. It doesn't give me headaches. Some people say it does. But apparently it can, like too much salt, speed up your heart. And so I have to watch that. That's my whole thing. Ramen's good, but not all the time, right? No ukulele playing yet, but I did look up some YouTube videos. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Susie said, I'd love another tattoo, but I'm not sure what I want it to be. That's a good point, because that's one of the reasons I have never had one, because I have never known what I want it to be long enough to have it on my body permanently. Yeah. Suzanne said a cicada tattoo would be great. I think that could be fun, right? I do like cicadas. You know, I know a lot of people don't like them, but and they talk about these, you know, the 12-year or 15-year, whatever broods that come out. I have only ever in my life seen a major expression of them once. And, you know, maybe this is because I was young and I'm like, in my head, I'm making it worse than it was, but I don't think so. I remember, like, we were at my grandmother's house. We went to both my grandmother's house during this, and they were everywhere. They were on the cars. They were on everything. And even when they seem to come out around here, when they're going through their cycles around here again, I've never seen it happen like that. Like, there were so many all around. The dogs were catching them out of the air and eating them. Like, that is how many there were. They were just crawling all over the ground. And like I said, maybe because I was a kid, in my mind there were more of them. But when they talk about around here, like, oh, is it 12-year or 15-year, whatever it is, and they talk about it like it's going to be bad this year, this is the year, I'm like, I look around and I barely see them. But I remember they would fly by you, like, and there were a lot of them. You would see their shells laying all over the place, or their exoskeletons and all that. I've never seen it like that again, and I keep kind of waiting for it. I would kind of like to see it, but I never have, not again. And I remember that from my childhood, and I love it. And I, you know, like, they freaked me out a little bit when I was young, but I've always, like, when I see a cicada, like, molting on a tree, or when they do that, whatever, the exoskeleton, and I always love it. I think they're such cool things. Kimberly says, I like bugs in jewelry. Me too. Norma says, no more cicadas. Our 17-year cicada plague finally died off. I know they do a lot of damage when they're around, supposedly. But, like, I never remember seeing, like, I remember seeing them fly. You'd see them flying through the air. They were everywhere. The dogs were catching them out of the air and eating them. Like, and I've never seen it like that again. Sanders says MSG, aka salt. It's not quite the same thing, but it does have the same effect, you know, on your heart and stuff. It can speed things up. But yeah. Suzanne says, my next tattoo will be a warrior possum. That's awesome. I like that. I approve. As if you needed my approval, right? Kimberly says, after my mom passed, I tattooed her fingerprint in the center of a sunflower on my ankle. That's cute. That's a cool idea. Yeah, I like that. Suzanne says, some are 12 and some are 17 years. So 12 and 17. Yeah, I've never, you know, and I was young when that happened. And like I said, maybe my memory's distorted. I know we all distort memories, but I know, like, dogs were eating them, catching them, and I've never seen them plentiful enough since then. And I've been alive for a number of those 12 or 17-year ones to come back. I've never seen them more plentiful enough for dogs to, like, catch them out of the air. Susie says, I am thinking of another phoenix tattoo, or morphing a phoenix with another mythical creature, but still need to think on it. Nice. Norma says, no, it wasn't in your mind. What we just had was like that. They were everywhere, on everything, and loud. Yeah, like, that's what I remember. Like, I remember the specific time when they were, like, they were on the car. Like, my grandfather had a junkyard. They were all over the cars, like, everywhere. And there were shells of them and skeletons of them, and some of them dead and flying around. And I don't remember the noise so much. I don't remember the hearing them. Um, but I do remember them being everywhere and um, kind of like having to, duck because they come flying around you. Um, yeah, but I've never seen it like that again, and I don't know why. I don't understand. Like they're supposed. That's what I thought they were supposed to be like when they come out. Susan is here. Hello, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us. Susan says, I haven't heard any cicadas yet here, but I did see a bumble the other day. Slow this year. Yeah, what cicadas mean? 6 more weeks of summer till fall, something like that. I think I keep saying that. Somebody corrected me the other day too, or confirmed, I should say. I think it's 6 more weeks of summer. When you hear the cicadas starting to come out, is what it's supposed to be around here. So I wouldn't expect. I don't think here to hear them yet. Um, we just got um, lightning bugs around here, which I feel like is late. Maybe not. I don't know. My timing's all off. But we just saw some lightning bugs recently um, at the cottage and stuff, starting to see them in the field. And I thought they usually come out earlier in June, not like right now. Let's see. Warrior possum, that's fierce, says Angela, right? Susan says, my dinner tonight was a bowl of cereal with some blueberries. Ooh, that sounds good. We did have some of my cheesecake with blueberries last night, and I liked it. It was pretty good, I have to say. I liked it. we ate half of it together last night, so we've still got half of it for tonight. Suzanne says, copperheads love cicadas. I've heard that. That would be probably a cool tattoo, some copperheads with some cicadas. I bet that'd be a cool tattoo. Nora says, I haven't seen any lightning bugs yet this year. Yeah, I feel like they're I feel like they're late this year, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just normal, and I have the wrong thing in my head. So I don't know if Andrew's here. Andrew, are you here? Are you watching? Where's my stand? I need my stand. What are you doing? It's been over 30 minutes. Hopefully he didn't get delayed somewhere. Susie says we have copperheads in the woods here. I have thankfully never run into one. Thank goodness. All that I've ever seen are little black snakes, and that'll be fine for me. I don't hate snakes. I don't have, I don't want to necessarily run across snakes, but I have nothing against snakes. They can go in their way. I'll go on mine. And like little snakes, I like to see them once in a while. We had a little snake in our burn. It was in the stones of the burn pile, or burning circle, or burning pit. And there was a little black snake that would live in there. And I'd try and make sure I hit everything before we start a fire so that it would hopefully leave. But I know that our neighbor close up there, every time I see her, she's like, have you seen any snakes yet this year? Have you seen any snakes? And I'm like, we don't really see many, but I guess she gets a lot of them at their place. And they're just like down the road from us. And they have a lot of them in their woods. But I think because their house is kind of in the woods and ours has a separation from the woods, we have partially mowed and timbered, and then we have the woods. And I think that separation helps. Suzanne says we have more cottonmouths. Nice. Suzanne says lightning bugs are in decline. That's sad. I don't like that. Yeah, normally we see a good bit of them here, but not as much this year. But also, our neighbors around here have some lights in their yards now and stuff that we didn't have before, so it's not as dark for them. So sometimes and I haven't been at the cottage in the evenings. I've been mostly there in the mornings and afternoons. I've been coming home to do the lives, so that would be the one place we see them the most. So yeah. Well, Andrew, are you here, Andrew? Trying to get my other stand because I have a very hard time with this one flipping it. So I'm still buying time. Still buying time. If you're listening, Andrew. Yeah. I'm having a good time, but our numbers keep going down probably because we're not showing anything. And I'm just talking about snakes and things cicadas and snakes. Um, Real good topics for some people. Some people do not like that. Um, Susan said a few years ago we had a garter snake neighbor. He used to run if he saw me with my camera. That's cute. A camera shy snake, says Norma, right? Yeah, I don't mind them. Like, if they do their own thing, I do my own thing. We do our own things. It's all right. Let's not get wild. Um, we don't need to get in each other's business. We'll stay away from each other and kind of hang out. But I do like to see them sometimes because you know what? In all truthfulness, it's if you do have any kind of woods or that kind of area, in all truthfulness, seeing them once in a while probably means that you have a healthy ecosystem. And that's important, right? If you're trying to maintain what's going on. Hello, he's here with my stand. I've been trying to buy time so that I can flip the camera because this thing is. How's it going?
Last days are always a little sad.
I know, you get sad on them days.
But it was a good workshop, and I'm really happy that I could go. So thank you to everybody who got stuff and allowed me to take the workshop. We all know that we've been in a little bit of a time of transition, and so we don't have a lot of extra money to do workshops. So this is probably the only workshop I'll get to go to Touchstone this year. I mean, I'll go for the Spark event, but then I went for the Snag event. But
Hope I didn't make anybody too dizzy as I switched the camera.
You could have turned the camera off.
Yeah, it's okay. There, right. It's all right.
I gotta go.
Where are you going?
Because I rushed up here.
You rushed up here?
This thing.
Good. You coming back to help me?
I do have to talk to the class tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Pack, then maybe.
Oh, go pack.
Me go pack or you go pack?
You go pack.
You don't want to go with me?
You can go pack.
No, he doesn't want to go with me.
You can do that while I do this so that we don't...
People beg me to be my assistant.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm just thinking that if you pack while I'm doing this, we will not be out later than we need to be. And you can get some rest. I'm thinking of you. All right. Let's see here. A sign of a healthy ecosystem. Indeed, says Susan. Sue says, our neighbor was just saying yesterday that he hasn't seen or smelled any skunks yet this year. I've seen a few skunks hit on the road, unfortunately. But I've not, you're right, I've not smelled them. Normally every summer, we smell them like almost at a particular point every single night. They used to come through the yard or come through the neighborhood, and you kind of smell them. Usually like 9, 10, 11 at night, somewhere in there, you'd be guaranteed to smell a skunk. But that has not happened this year. I have seen a few hit on the road. So I know they're out and about, which is, I hate seeing them hit because I like skunks too. I think they're cute. Suzanne says, I'm too much in the city for skunks. Yeah, we have them. They come through the neighborhood like cats walking through the neighborhood. Susie says, we used to have families of them in our neighborhood. Yeah. And we do live close enough to one of the roads here that a lot of times they get hit just down below the house, and then you really smell it for like days. Usually they clean them up pretty quickly, but it does sometimes last quite a while. But yeah, anyway, let's get this party started. Maybe. Let me see what I've got. I'm so discombobulated today. I thought I had papers. Did I cut papers? I didn't cut papers. I thought I did that already last night. I thought I cut a bunch of them. Well, we're going to cut some papers. I should have been doing that while I've been chatting. You know. What else are y'all up to? You having a good time? It's Friday. We obviously didn't do the creative make-along. I just could not get enough stuff together to do that. I couldn't do it. Yeah, it just wasn't. I was going to do it live earlier in the day, but then that didn't work out because I got hooked on doing other stuff, and I was a little discombobulated. And like I said, I left the house today without taking some stuff that I wanted to take. So because I thought about taking some stuff up with me and doing a live earlier in the day, and I walked out without a lot of stuff that I wanted to have. So that wasn't great. Boy, I'm really not cutting these well. Making a little bit of a mess. Sandra says, I got my first cucumber on the vine today. I was very excited. Nice. See, now I'm using the other hand, and now I'm putting my finger in over here to point stuff. Yeah, cucumber. I'm not a cucumber fan. Don't want to burst your bubbles, Sandra, but I am definitely not a cucumber fan unless you pickle them. I love pickles. Cucumbers, the reason they are on Earth, as far as I'm concerned, is to be made into a pickle. But yeah, I know people like them. My grandmother used to grow them, and she would always try and get me to eat them. And finally, at one point, she put some vinegar and sugar on them. Vinegar and sugar on them, and I can actually tolerate them because they're almost pickled at that point, right? Kind of close to the same thing. So then I can kind of eat them, and they're not too bad. Let's see. Chris is here. Says hello. Kimberly sent me. Good. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Kimberly, for sending Chris over. Hope you're all doing well out there. We're going to look at some vintage stuff tonight. We appreciate all that word of mouth. We want people to find us and know that we exist. We've been doing this for almost 14 years. No, 15. What year is it? 2025. We started in 2011. So 14 years, going on 14 years. Let me do that mental math. And, you know, we have a good following, and we appreciate all of you who watch us. But we can always make new friends, right? We like to make new friends, especially if they are creative people who like to do creative things. That's the best. Those are the best kind of friends. And if you're not creative, you can learn. We can teach you. You can be taught, right? So yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Kimberly. Thanks for sending Chris over. And we're going to get started tonight. Let me think of a lot number. What am I going to use for my lot number? What did we use yesterday? LGV. Let's do GVA tonight. GVA for Get Vintage Again. Yesterday was LGV for Let's Get Vintage. Now we're going to do Get Vintage Again. All right. And I'm going to flip the camera around. So let's do that too. We're not fancy here. We don't got the fancy switching of the camera. And I also changed the setup here. Okay, let's get myself together. It's one of those days. You ever have a day it's just hard to get yourself together? I did really well. I feel like I can either get myself together at the beginning of the day or I can get myself together at the end of the day. But getting myself together for a full day, all day, is just not possible. That's pretty much my life. Let's It's getting cold in here now. Let me turn off that air conditioner. It'll also get very much more quiet in here. Okay, let me find my vintage stuff. Let me find these things that I did not show you yesterday. And I have to pull up some spreadsheets for counting stuff here. I'll need this spreadsheet. And I'll need this spreadsheet. Okay. These are beautiful. I forgot we had these. I do forget we have things sometimes, you know? Okay, so for those of you who are new, if you're watching and you're new, thank you for joining us. This is how you can purchase from this video. I'll put the banner down below, but we'll go over it here. We put down a lot number on a piece of paper. We're very high tech here. The lot number are GVA today, so GVA 1 through however many we do tonight. And I'll give you a price. And that'll be the price per item. And in this corner, I usually write how many of that we have, how many lots we have at that price. If you'd like to purchase anything, start an email to info@allegorygallery.com. Put this in the subject line and hit send. So GVA1, for example, in the subject line of an email that's addressed to info@allegorygallery.com and send it to us. You can send one per item, which is generally the way you'll get the most things or have the chance to get the most things because it's all first come, first serve. Or you can wait until the very end and send us a whole list of everything you want, but you may not get it that way, or you may not get a lot of it if people get to it before you. We do have a good number of a lot of the things tonight, so that helps, but on some nights where we only have one or two of anything, it's easy to send one email per item. Just put that in the subject line, info@allegorygallery.com. Please send a new email each time. Do not reply to a previous email. You know how you can hit reply and it sends us another email? What that does is it gathers all the emails together, and all of your emails don't come in then until the end, and we miss out on everything. So just send a new email every time. And please know, if you do send us an email, you are promising to buy it if you get it. Okay? We don't go through and say who got what unless you ask us. What you purchase is nobody else's business, but we will try and keep track of how many things are sold to let you know if things have sold out. If you do want to know if you got something, you can ask us in the comments, and I will tell you that you got it or not. I invoice at the end of the night. I do a spreadsheet, and we invoice after we finish up at the end of every evening. And we invoice via Square. And you can pay with a credit card. If you like to pay with PayPal, we recommend like having a PayPal debit card. For instances here and there, not always, but here and there, if you need to switch to PayPal for something, we can do that. Just let us know. But we generally default to Square, and that's where I can keep track of things the best. That flows through our inventory the right way and all that other good stuff. So that, I think, is that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask as we go along. Yeah, anyway, let me see this. I have to see on this how many of this one I still have left. I've got 10 of these. So this is 10 of those. They are $6 per lot. That's how this works. And what is it, you're asking? It's these beautiful little drops. These are vintage check glass, crystal drop beads, and they are in this amethyst color. Hopefully you can see that okay. Faceted drops, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get 12 of them for $6. So these are really nice quality, high quality, vintage check glass faceted drops. And they are, let me get my calipers out here. They are approximately, whoops, let's get it in there right, 10.5 millimeters by, at the widest point, 6 millimeters. 10.5 by 6 millimeters. We have 10 lots available at $6 per lot. All right. We move this down, trying to get this, hopefully, this helps sometimes calibrate the color a little better. Yeah, so if you have any questions as we go along, please just let me know. And I'll do my best to answer. All right, so that is GVA1, $6, 10 lots available. These little pretty things, these are vintage plastic, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of those. You get 14 of those, and let me get my marker. Come on. GVA2. These are $4 each. And this one I'm going to mark MLA in the bottom. That means multiple lots available. That means I have enough that I don't want to count them right now. And I will count them doing the spreadsheet if I feel like we're getting close to selling all of them. But these are beautiful little vintage plastic beads. And they've kind of got this, hello, they've kind of got this marbled white going through them. Excuse me. This is the most I've talked all day. And these are about 13.5 millimeters by, let's say 10, about 10, 9.7. That's GVA2, multiple lots available, $4 for the 14 of those. Normally, with our vintage plastic, we make a, we string them up and make a strand. And normally our strands are about like this-ish for $4. So you're getting a few extras thrown in there than what we normally would sell those for the live. We usually give you the best prices here in the live that we possibly can.
Are you ready for interlude?
We just started. You got an interlude for us?
Well, I was going to show you what I made.
Oh, well, let me get out of the way.
No, I'm just going to hand it to you.
Oh.
And then we'll do it like that.
All right, everybody.
This is precarious.
Interlude.
We all ready?
Y'all ready for that? So this is Andrew, for those of you who are new out there. This is my husband, Andrew. He was at a class this week at Touchstone Center for Craft with Barbara McFadden doing enamel work.
Do we have new people watching?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Kimberly sent over a friend, Chris.
Well, hello, friend Chris. My name is Andrew. All right. So I started, you can move that stuff off to the side maybe so that people can gaze my work.
Pay more attention to you.
Correct. So I started the week off making some samples. I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of the experiments that I would like to do. I have like a notebook full of things that I want to do. So I kind of use this week as an opportunity to do those
And this
things.
is enamel work.
Uh-huh. So I gave myself permission to kind of play around. So that might not look like anything to anybody. You may be like, what in the...
They look like little mushrooms. They're going to be little mushrooms.
So these are called pouncers. And you use that to apply stuff. So I learned how
Like
to make
this?
these. And this was taught to Barbara from Jamie Bennett. And there's this kind of like that kind of mesh stuff, that rubbery kind of stuff. Kind of like
This?
a foam.
It's foamy, yeah.
I don't know where you would even get that.
I've seen this somewhere.
It's
Sometimes
usually
it
for
comes
like
in.
bandages or something.
Sometimes it comes in like packing materials too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe a little bit thicker than that, but yeah.
I like the thinner because it conforms to the little mushroom top.
Did you ask her where she got it?
I
I'm gonna
can.
have to ask her. Pam asked, "Where is Touchstone located?" Down in Farmington, Pennsylvania, near the border of West Virginia
Maryland
and Maryland.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we're 1 hour and 7 minutes. Unless you drive quickly.
From us.
Then you're 1 hour away. So this is, I had some watercolors that were iridescent watercolors, and I wanted to test if they would work on the enamel, and they do.
They survived the process.
Mm-hmm. So I was pleased that that worked out. And then I did another test.
So tulip pink went gold.
Yeah, you never know.
That's wild.
So here's another test with those iridescent colors. So it doesn't look like anything until you hold it in the right light. And then it turns colors. But if I do use those particular iridescent colors, I'm going to use them on a dark background. Because on the light background, you don't really get the full effect.
That's cool.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Then, so I, so around here, be careful, some of the edges may be a little bit sharp. So around here, there are some creeks, as they call them, cricks, and they are orange, and it's from the acid mine drainage, which is the process they use for coal and whatever. And so I got in contact with the watershed, and they collect those pigments and they reclaim it. It's reclaimed iron oxide, and they use it to make crayons, believe it or not. But I got some from the local Loyalhanna watershed and wanted to see if I could use it. And the idea was that I would do portraits of the species that are impacted by the acid mine drainage. I don't know if you know this or not, but some of those EPA regulations, which have been helped to remediate the pollution and toxic environments, have been rolled back. And so those places are in, and the wildlife is finally coming back. So they're in danger of going back to the.
Again. Let's see. Lisa's very interesting. Love that. Kimberly says, I'm loving this. I think we were on that at that point. And then Suzanne says, love this lizard. Lisa's love that too. The pendant has shine. Chris says, that's so cool. And then what a neat idea.
All right. So that was an experiment, y'all. These are all experiments. So that's where this is an experiment. So if you're like, oh my gosh, just know that a lot of times I can do better. So this is one of the ones that's using just that reclaimed iron oxide. That's a bald eagle. And I wanted to play with the firing temperatures. So I did that, and I wanted also to play with the different surfaces, because you can change the surface of the finished enamel.
Lee says, do you have a kiln?
I do.
We do.
We've got a few kilns.
Yeah, our jewelry studio has a few of them.
And so I'm going to be able to continue my experiments theoretically, but I am traveling a lot this summer, so I'm not going to be able to play as much as I'd like.
Let's see. It's Lisa's beautiful work. Kimberly says, "Well, I'd buy the pendant experiment."
All right, $50. No, I'm playing.
Otter baby, says Suzanne.
And then the next one in that kind of experimentation was this one. So this one I used. I put some of the gold metallic ink mixed in with the iron oxide. So you get a little bit of a shimmer, and I wanted to see if that would be compatible or not.
Looks like it worked.
Yeah, I have to refine it, of course. But
So this is on copper, this one.
yeah, that one is, I was very fortunate to be asked to participate in an enameled quilt project that was at the Metal Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. And so instead of making just one of something, I make several just in case something doesn't work out. Like this one, it was a little bit bowed, so I didn't use this as I didn't use that for the tile. And I mean, I could theoretically fix it, but at this point, it's just good for experimentation. But so I had that, so I used that to test, also to see how it would look with color, because I wanted to see how that.
Because you already had the blue on there, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Suzanne says, "Lucky hair." Look at that. I like how that glows.
Now this one, I put a little bit of flux and mixed it into the iron oxide. So you get a little bit of a different effect, especially in the background. You can see how it's so glossy. And so that was one of the experiments putting that. This is a little bit, I also played around with firing temperatures on that one, so some of the background kind of burned off. Now this one is with that flux, but I put it on a little bit thicker, and it did some crazing in the background, which I kind of like, because there isn't a true crackle in enameling. They do have a thing called crackle, but it's not what you think it is, and it doesn't look like what people think of when they think of crackle. So I kind of like that, and I wanted to see if I could duplicate that. So I made this piece.
Suzanne asks, "Is that a heron?"
Mm-hmm.
And Chris says, "I like the lizard."
Thanks. It's supposed to be one of those salamanders, eastern salamanders. So in addition to playing with the copper or the iron oxide, I also wanted to test out I have some copper, it's a copper carbonate. And so when that was, when it was wet, it was bright green. But adding a little bit of the flux in this piece, I ended up hitting this with some of that copper carbonate, the Eastern Salamander, and it made the blue-green color.
Yeah.
So
this you're kind of left with the carbon, right?
No.
Black.
The copper oxidizes and turns to copper oxide, and that's what that black color is. Now this one is a little bit of the copper carbonate mixed with the iron oxide. So it's not as a black, but it's more of kind of a reddish black instead of a bluey black.
Yeah, it's more red in person. It's looking more blue on screen.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
It looks pretty blue, like gray blue.
Well, and then some of the other tests that I did. Um, I am teaching a class tomorrow on drawing on enamel and mark making on enamel. And so I made these so that people could get a sense.
Samples for the class.
Yeah.
Look at that. Good job.
Thanks. And I also wanted to show different finishes on
I was
top
gonna
of
say
it.
that one's more matte, or that sugar.
Uh-huh.
I actually like the matte one this time. Normally I like flashy, shiny.
Well, I made this cute little dog pin for Sarita, who I traded for. She was one of the teachers, and she made me this sexy little basket. So she saw one of my cutouts that I had made before, and she's like, "Oh, that looks like my dog." And I said, "I will trade you for something." And so she made me a basket.
Nice.
She just whipped up a basket for me, and it's cute the way it turned out. But I will say that I had an earlier version of it where I had done sugar fire on it, and it was so stinking cute, and I loved it. Like I finished it, and I liked it how it finished, but I loved how it was earlier.
Yeah.
And the kiln that they have is a little bit. It's actually better than our kiln,
Mm-hmm.
but
What's the
I'm
Vicina
used
or
to the Vicella.
Vicella? Yeah.
It holds the temperature better. Our kiln has
He's
like,
used to the temperature drop.
uh-huh. And so it got in just a smidge too long. It made orange peel instead of that sugar fire.
I like this sugar fire in this one.
I used the Paragon to get that sugar fire.
This one's very matte. Extra.
And that one may be a little bit undercooked. Could use a little bit more heat.
Yeah, that's good though.
So I tested those, and then in addition to that, there's an artist named Keith Lewis, and I adore his work, and so he has a technique of putting gold foil or gold leaf on onto the enamel, and then doing sgraffito on it. So I collaborate. Barbara actually did my background, like the blanks for me. So because I had to leave early that day to do the live, so she did the black undercoat.
On which ones?
On the one in your hand.
Oh.
And then we did the gold leafing together, which was like a comedy of errors because it was so humid that it was sticking to everything. And so we got it to work. And then I think it turned out pretty good.
This looks great. Lisa's, that is amazing.
Thanks.
All caps.
And there's a secret message inside.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's not that secret because I took a picture of it. But it says this piece was made by Andrew Thornton with Barbara McFadden at Touchstone using Keith Lewis's gold leaf sgraffito technique on blah 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 date.
Oh boy.
And so I thought that was because there's a dome.
I like this setting too.
Yeah, she got that from Thompson, and it's nice because then
it's already quick. Done. Yeah. I was like, how did you do that in that time too?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Because pre-made, that's how.
Yeah, that's nice.
I was like, maybe I should take a look. I mean, I don't know.
So is this clear coated over top?
No.
Then? No.
No.
So I don't want to touch it? Do you touch it? And it's gold foil.
24K.
Wow.
We fancy here at Allegory Gallery.
Suzanne says, I love that bird.
Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good.
That's a keeper piece.
Yeah, that's not an inexpensive piece because of the material. And because it stuck to everything, including our fingers, we wiped it off onto the torn off parts onto a little pin.
Oh, nice.
And I might do a sugar fire on that. And then, do you have a black light?
Not that works.
I thought I had one up here.
This one is the one that died, I think.
That one died, but there was a smooth one that was in my bag.
I don't know. I was looking for it the other day too, or yesterday, because we had some things that were supposed to glow. I took a picture of them today, though.
I don't know where it is.
These are really wonderful, Andrew, says Anna.
Thanks. One of my other experiments, and this one's supposed to glow in the dark also.
So this one glows in the dark?
Theoretically, but I haven't tested it.
Or glows under black light?
Probably, it definitely will glow under a black light if it glows in the dark.
And this one too. In the dark or under a black light? Oh, yeah.
If it glows in the dark, it will always glow under a black light.
Look at it glowing, everybody.
And then
there it is. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Wow, awesome work, Andrew, says Susan.
thanks.
Let's see if this one glows too.
We'll see. I put a lot of stuff on it. Oh, it does.
Yeah, look at that. Good job. Good job.
Alright, this one doesn't glow.
Oh, this is one of your shadow play creatures.
And so with this one, I put the gold foil and I overfired it just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so in some of the spots, I had to use a bronze powder because the leaf got kind of wonkadoodle. So the leaf oxidized, or the bronze powder oxidized, and some of it burnt a little bit. And I think I like it. At first, I was disappointed that it wasn't all gold because it was all gold.
Oh, it was all gold.
And then now
it looks like that kombu, though.
I know, and I like it. It's like you ended up being a winner. Bless your heart.
Those are so fun, says Kimberly. I love those little square artwork, says Anne, just joining us.
Thanks. And then I have a bunch of stuff. Well, for one, I was helping some folks today, and doing little demos.
So what did your teacher think of all these experiments?
She's liked it. And
Has she played around
with me?
Yeah. That's
and I think she liked me.
You think so?
She told me I'm wonderful. So.
Oh, nice. Lisa's love it.
Thanks.
So is that all you did?
I know. I was like, I'm such a slacker. And they were like, what? No, I actually made another pin.
Oh, he's digging in his pocket. Oh, I thought you were whipping out pins.
No,
Here's another.
It's gone already.
Oh, you sold it or traded?
No. She went in the
Is there an auction?
Oh, I did something for the auction too. All right, so
look at that little cute thing.
She has a Chihuahua, and it looks just like that. Maybe the tail's not as bushy.
Yeah.
And it's more yellow.
My cousins had a Chihuahua, and their dog, it was Chihuahua Terrier. It was the brother of the one that we had. and they were so different. He was so nice and jumped around and had this big swooshy tail, like the extra fur from the tail. And our little one, she was mean and had a skinny little tail, but she was our little girl.
I don't. I think they're not nice. We're too alike.
She was very much a one-person dog. It was my dad's dog. Like Donna says, Andrew, these are amazing. Hello, somebody wants to come in.
So that's what I made for the auction, and Barbara got it.
Oh, nice.
So I got something.
Is that with that iron oxide?
With a little bit of mica put in.
Yeah.
So I
like how you're using the natural stuff from things around here.
It's probably a pain in the butt, and I could just order it already pre-made. But I also think about, like,
did you have to filter it in any way, or do like?
No, I don't know if the watershed already did it.
Yeah.
But I do. There's a slag that Julia Harrison was picking up when she was going for walks. So Julia Harrison is the national resident over at Contemporary Craft right now, and she is mostly does carving on wood and stuff. But they were tearing up the road where in between the house that they stay in, which they didn't have when I was there, by the way.
He's like, by the way.
So they she picked up the iron slag, and so it's like a glass-like material, and it's like bright blue, like kind of a mellow blue, kind of a grayish silvery blue, and it's really pretty. So I want to maybe try to beg some off of her, and then I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll trade her something, so that I can see if I can enamel with it. And then so here's the other thing. So here's experiment number 83.42. So I was talking to Morgan, who is the office intern at Touchstone, and he was talking about how, because he's a ceramicist, and he was explaining some of the kilns and the glazes. So he was talking about how in some of the wood fire kilns, the glaze is actually produced from the silica that's burnt in the wood. So when a plant
different woods will give off different properties.
So when a plant is growing, it's soaking up minerals. People don't really think about it, but the trees around us have rocks and stuff. I was gonna say shit.
You just did.
And that have rocks and stuff in it, and so when it's burned, those become atmospheric and they attach to the surface of the clay.
That's what Steve told us when we were doing the wood fire.
So another thing that's kind of cool is, like, when you're blacksmithing, what happens is you get raw coal, or they call it green coal. And when you heat the green coal to a certain temperature, there's a material called coke that gets produced. And they would have what's called coke furnaces around here. And what it is the fuel that is burnt, and that gets to a higher temperature. So what happens is it kind of looks more puffy and light, and it's the part that burns. So the other part of that is a thing called clinker, and people don't like the clinker. They hate the clinker. And the clinker is the silica that's in the ancient trees. So I think that's pretty wild, that is. So I have some clinker that I saved during my time with Elizabeth Brim, and I'm gonna crush it up and use it and try to use it.
See what minerals are in there.
How it will look.
Because it'll never come out the same way twice, probably.
You never know. I don't know. So that's what I did. And then I also did some experiments in steel, but I didn't get a chance to fire them. So they're in the car. I didn't want to take them out because if they're not fired yet, so they're kind of fragile style.
Mm-hmm. Especially with it being like raining.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I put it in a little Tupperware, but still. So that's what I did this week. I kind of feel like I didn't do very much. But
No,
compared
nothing.
to some of the other folks.
So what is the blue on this?
It's a glow-in-the-dark infused glass.
Okay.
So that's why it's kind of lumpy-dumpy style.
I like it.
It's interesting. I think it can be used kind of strategically. And, there's something, I'll have to get used to it.
Yeah.
Or use it in a very way or grind it up a little bit more or something.
These are signed, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So maybe if people want them, I can sell it.
After your class tomorrow.
Could sell it now. You're gonna have to wait until after the weekend to get it.
Anybody interested in these for sale?
I'm not gonna change the finishes though.
No.
You can show them all together.
Anybody's interested in these, let us know. What would pricing be on those? 75?
No, like 36.
Ooh, 36. You know it, says Kimberly. Sure, says Susan. Okay, let me give them numbers because I have a feeling people might want these.
And then for the brooch, I will sell it.
This one you're going to actually sell. It's not going to be your special keeper piece.
I'll sell it for $300.
This one. Okay, so let's. What am I on here? GVA. GVA3. What'd you say on these? 36?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here, let me move some stuff out of here. Let's move some of these. Unless you're selling all of these.
Yeah, these are tests.
Tests.
I mean, there are some that if I framed them or something,
yeah,
they would. And then the heron and the deer they don't have a top coat.
So they look like they're a little raw.
And so they need to have a top coat.
These are cool. I like those ones.
I might play around with that a little bit more.
So this will say is GVA3. GVA4. See, you never know what you're going to get on a live here.
You thought you were getting vintage and you getting stuff made yesterday.
I know, right? There's this one. GVA4. GVA5. Kimberly says that gold one should be your keeper.
Well, I priced it at $300.
He's like, that's the point. I'm willing to make it not my keeper, but it's mine until then.
Well, because I have gas money that I want to, raise. Because I'm going to bless you.
Thank you.
I'm going to Maine, so I need to save some money for that trip.
GVA6. We've sold GVA5, the owl. Thank you so much. GVA6, GVA7 is the flower with the eye. Norma says, if you ever do a pendant of that bald eagle, I would buy it. Thank you, Kimberly. So that is GVA7.
Maybe.
And GVA8 is the 24 karat gold piece done in collaboration with Barbara McFadden.
Since it's a Barbara piece, it should be like
I know,
more because she's an established artist. I'm just coming up.
And that's a 24 karat gold leaf, GVA 8.
I do like those settings.
Yeah, that's nice. Very convenient.
And I don't know if she gets that wholesale or if she was just bought a bunch of them and is reselling them for students. But she did a heron. It looked good.
In the gold? Yeah. Has she done that before?
No.
No.
We were learning and struggling together.
Nice.
And then she made another piece. It was like a fan shape.
Nice.
But she didn't carve the sgraffito in yet. So, yep, that's what I made.
So it's graffitoed after?
So you apply the gold, and then you sgraffito it, and then you fire it, and the fire infuses the gold.
That's so cool. Kimberly says, I'll be watching for the incomplete pendant. Love it.
With the incomplete pendant.
Which one is that?
Oh, this one?
Oh, this one?
You don't want that. That don't look like nothing.
She said she did. She's ready for it.
But then you say, "Oh, this pendant was made by Andrew,"
and then he's like,
"People like, oh,
you don't like that out in the world with your name on it?"
Nah, that's just a test. I mean, there are qualities that I like about. Like
Kimberly says, "Yep, that one."
I like the background, but the bird part, when it doesn't flash, it has an unfortunate kind of coloring to it.
It's yellow.
In a bodily fluid sort of way.
Pea yellow.
So,
but when it flashes, it flashes.
When it flashes, it looks lovely. When it doesn't, it looks less lovely.
Kimberly says, I can see the bird. It's awesome.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're a believer in my test.
Kimberly says, I see beauty.
Okay, well.
I see that.
Yeah, I think it is interesting because I've noticed that you like some of my more experimental things.
Yep.
And like things that I would never sell. You're kind of like, you should sell that. And then I'm like, what?
See, that's just goes to tell you. Maybe you undersell yourself.
Or something.
People like the things you do, Andrew.
Thanks. I try hard.
Okay.
But, yeah, so I think I did all right.
Ooh.
It's sturdy as steel.
I really do enjoy the unique, says Kimberly.
Yeah, so that here, take a picture and then give them back to me. Because you can't keep them.
You can't keep them, he says. Oh, Tallulah's on there.
That's because she's my surgery girl. She still has her cone.
Andrew needs these for the class, but anybody who claims them will get them after.
But see, yeah. Yeah, I think that gold one turned out particularly.
That is very nice. You keep doing that, that'd be great.
We'll see. If people buy it. Then
well,
if they don't buy it, then it's kind of like,
Can't do a lot of gold foil if you can't afford the gold foil.
I know. It's a little bit spendy. So.
Back to the vintage show, y'all.
Though they have it on Etsy, and they didn't up the price since the price of gold went up. So I'm just saying, if I make a lot of money, maybe I'll get some more gold.
You better sell that gold one first.
I know. But I would love to try again, and maybe with less humidity. Because I was struggling for my life.
Can I just do it though? Oh, okay.
I was struggling
You're
for my
struggling
life,
for your life.
trying to get that gold leaf on, and then I kept cracking up.
Cracking up?
And I was told today, so I had a bunch of meetings today, and it was like I had a meeting with some of the other board members today at lunch, and then I had a meeting with my mentor in Italy, and so and I was talking to her for a while, and one of the things she's like, "Yeah, you do sometimes have a very stern face." I was like, "That's just my face."
That's his way.
Uh-huh. I try to make myself look nice.
This is GVA 9.
Wouldn't that plastic look good with this?
It actually kind of would look really cool.
Yeah, because it's got that same lines.
Mm-hmm. These are these little star-shaped beads. I'm going to call them star-shaped. I don't know what you call them other than that. But
They're
these tubes, and they look like a little star.
They're corrugated tubes.
Corrugated tubes. And they have these beautiful sparkles in them with a black core.
Oh, I love that.
And some of them have more sparkles than others. And they are vintage plastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You get 10 of them for $4, which is a really good deal because if we strung these up, like that's a strand, like they'd be like 2 strands and they'd be like $8.
It's basically a 4-inch strand.
Yeah. And so these are approximately 6 millimeters by 25 and a half. It's GVA 9. And then somewhere I think those are silvery sparkles. And then we also have these. These would look good with yours. They have the gold sparkles.
Which one do you think?
For some reason I only have 8 in there, but you get 10 of these as well. Gold or silver?
I don't like the silver.
I do actually too.
Well, the frame is silver.
Yeah.
Oh, Tallulah.
Tallulah one's in. So these are the golden ones. Those actually, let's see, we should have 10 as well.
All right, hand me back my bird.
Your bird.
And then I'm going to sit down for a minute because I need a break.
GVA 10.
So I thought that broke sold, and I was like, oh.
No, that would be nice. You never know. Who knows what will happen by the end of the night? Are these wood? Were they a bamboo?
They are coconut.
Are they coconut? That's what I couldn't remember what they were. I keep forgetting to look them up.
I just asked me.
That'll come a little. Well, I couldn't yesterday.
The internet is not always the best there, and then also the other thing is that I don't usually check my phone if my hands are dirty.
No.
And my hands were filthy. And then we did sparklers last night.
Yeah, how was that?
Really short. I forgot how quickly sparklers burn out.
Yeah, they at the place they're like, this has a 50-second burn time.
Correct.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
And I was gonna get more, but I wasn't sure how many you wanted. And they had like the really long ones, but I'm like, you probably wanted the nostalgic.
I mean, it was nice, but you know.
We sold one of the GVA 9s. Thank you so much.
Buy too quick.
Now these are the little green companions to the ones we had yesterday. which were these LGV 37s. So if you liked those, or if you got those, or if you didn't, maybe you want to collect them all, get the different colors. But you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of them in each color. And that's GVA 11. And this was LGV 37. If you missed last night's program and you like those too, you can get those. Just send us an email for those as well. And that's about 10 millimeters by about 11 and a half. Little beachy things. Vintage plastic beads. But super good quality. No seam lines on these, which is nice. That's the good vintage plastic. When you don't see the seam lines, it's usually the older stuff that was done really well. Let's see here too. Okay, GVA 12. These are $8 each. I've got 2 lots available. These are Japanese pressed glass beads. You get the whole lot for $8. Japanese, vintage Japanese glass. These are these little pressed Baroque, they're little dimpled beads. And they are approximately, let's check here, about 11.5 millimeters, 11 to 11.5 by 10. And let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, about 25 beads for $8. Vintage Japanese glass. And this beautiful kind of bright orangey color. It would be really fun with those if you got those. Thank you, Chris. Beautiful glass beads. And GVA 13. Let's see what else we've got. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 of these available. $3.50 each. GVA 13 are these charming pressed brass 2-bird filigree pieces. They're the 2 birds together, their beaks together. Pressed brass, done here in the US, most likely in Providence. And those are about 15.5 by 21 millimeters. They're $3.50 each. I've got 9 of them available. Put those back in here. And GVA 14. These are $1 each, and I've got only 4 of them available. $1 each. 4 of them available. These are these silver-colored metal fetish beads. They're done in the style of a fetish. A lot of times we have carved bone or carved wood in the fetishes, or shell. These are a metal bead. Super cute little bears. They're drilled through the body, top to bottom. And they are about 9 by 21 millimeters. 9 by 21 little silver fetish beads. I was out of the room. Our GV12 glass. These are vintage Japanese glass, Norma. Vintage Japanese glass beads. Those bright orange ones. Vintage Japanese glass. We've just sold all of these. Thank you so much. We've sold some of GVA 11. Thank you. We appreciate that. Let me just put this away. Since we've sold it, I'm going to take it off the table so it doesn't confuse anybody. These are sold out. All right. Norma, but I was showing these how they do go really well. If you got these ones last night, the LGV 37s, they are very similar in color. And they would work really well to add glass and vintage plastic together. I think that'd be fun. We've just sold one of the GVA 12s. Thank you. We've got one left. One lot left. All right. What am I doing next? Let me check this here. Okay. GVA 15. Already did 14. 15. $6. And I've got 5 of these available. We've just sold the other GVA 12. Thank you so much. I'm going to remove that one since it is now sold out. Thank you, thank you. Put this in the bag with its partner. And set that over in the done pile. Okay, GVA 15. Let me move these up to here. Move this over here. And GVA 15. These are really cool. They're only $6 for the lot of them. They are a. Let me see if it does have. Yeah, these are vintage Czech. They're a pretty large Czech bead. Large Czech glass round, faceted around in this kind of bumblebee color. Pam is LGV. All the LGVs, I can't say they're all available, but yes, you can still claim them. So you can rewatch yesterday's, or if I show you something today that you see, you can claim them today as well. Absolutely. So this is GVA 15. You get 6 of these large Czech glass beads. These are pretty large for Czech glass. If you like the big Czech glass, they don't make a lot of big beads like this anymore. We learned from our Czech glass supplier there are only a few families in the glass industry that actually make the big beads, and they're getting fewer and fewer in number. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of large Czech glass beads anymore. And so these are drilled this way, or their holes this way, and they are approximately 15.3 by 16.5 millimeters per bead. You get 6 beads for for $6. So they're only $1 a bead. GVA 15. I think they're super cool. I love the kind of brown, yellow, and white. And it is brown. It's not quite a black. So go really well with like a carnelian, something like that, an agate. Really pretty. Even a sardonyx, if you get sardonyx with a lot of the brown in there. Sandra says, oh, that is big. Yes, they are. But they would still be light enough for earrings. I think you would have no problem if you wanted to make them into earrings. Pam, you're asking about this one. LGV 37. LGV 37, the orange and white. That's that one, if that's the one you're looking for. Still available. Let me see here. This is check my spreadsheet. I'm sorry. Now I'm on LG. GVA 16. I have 4 of these available at $3.50 per lot. GVA 16. And this is a lot of these little metal strawberries. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these. 10 of these little metal strawberries. They're blank on one side, so you can put a bezel on there if you want to. And they're already scuffed, as you can see. So if you're trying to glue or epoxy something on them, it'll grip it really well. So if you want to put a bezel on there to make little charms, they're these cute little strawberries. You get 10 of those for $3.50 each. There are 4 lots available. They are cast brass. And each one is about 11 by 13 millimeters. Thickness wise, they're like 1 millimeter. Very thin. GVA 16. GVA 17, $4. Multiple lots of these available. These are these beautiful, I love these because I love green, but they're green and gold, vintage plastic, large beads, but look at the color, look at the pattern in them. Super cool. Vintage plastic beads. Aren't they awesome? They have like that marble shampoo-y kind of look, and then they have that touch of gold on them that flashes when it hits the light. And these are a little bit large, which is nice when you want something bigger but not heavy. 18.5 by 24 millimeters. And you get 6 of them for $4. Kimberly says, pretty, aren't they? I think they're really pretty. Okay. Let's move these over so make a little bit of extra room. These are all still available because we've got multiples of these. And I love these. Nobody's grabbed any of these yet. I'm surprised. These little filigree birds. They'd be really cool. Could bend them over other pieces. I don't know if they'd fit. Might bend them over things because they're filigree. Bend them over another bead as a background. I think that'd be sort of cool, especially something like this. I don't know if they'd hold on to something like this though yet. It might be a little too big. GVA 18. We sold one of lots of the 17. Thank you so much. Oh, I love these so much. Let me see here. These we have 6 of them available. GVA 18, $3.25. 6 lots available. This beautiful pink pearlescent stripy glass. Vintage glass beads. They're like these little beans. They remind me of beans, but in the most beautiful glass. And they just really glow. And they really catch the light really well. And it's GVA 18. You get 5 of them for $3.25. And there are 6 lots of 5 available. And these little beans are about 15.5 millimeters by 13. GVA 18. Okay, we've got 10 of these available. GVA 19, they're going to be $2 a pair. $2 a pair, and they are these wonderful little horse head charms. Stamped brass from the US, vintage. Horse head charms. And you get a pair of them for $2. GVA 19. And let me get you the size on these. These are about 12.6 by 10.5. About 12.5 by 10.5 for those. All right. Let me start putting some of these back. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There were 12 of them in there. Sold some of the GVA 19s. Thank you so much. We still have some available. Like, I think these with these, like, look at those together. Those drops, GVA 1 with GVA 18. Super pretty together. I don't know, what about throwing in, get some glass and get some plastic mixing together? That could be a really fun thing with GVA 2 there too. Those look good together. I like them. You sold some of the GVA 18. Thank you so much. the glass. Okay. Let's clear the deck a little bit here. 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of those as well. Okay. And these are in lots of 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of those. I love these ones. I need to do something myself with some of these. So is anybody working on any jewelry projects lately? Anything new? Our friend Harry has been working on some stuff I've seen. Anybody else working on any jewelry projects? Trying any new things? What's everybody been up to? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, let's do those. Let's move this over here. Move this up to here where we can see those. Who's still out there with me? Suzanne says, I've got several ideas but need a package from you. Yes, it's coming very soon. Yours is being prepped. Just worked on it the other day. GVA 20. Some of y'all like the big beads. Let's do the big beads. $4. Oh, and I started looking at the bangles for you today too, Suzanne. But I got only partway through looking, so I will finish that too. It says, just the bracelets for Sunday. I have an idea for some UV resin charms with some of my photography, but I haven't bought the material yet. Nice. These are large vintage plastic beads. They're kind of a squatty round, kind of a rondelle. And these ones are 22.5 by 21. GVA 20. $4. And you get 8 of them for the $4. GVA 21. We have, how much is this? $4 only on this. And I have 7 of these available. Okay. And we have these bright, bright yellow vintage Japanese glass beads. And you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 25 beads. 25 beads for $4. Vintage Japanese 7mm beads, $4 only. If you like that bright, bright yellow, it's hard to find bright yellow sometimes, and these are wonderful. GVA 21, only 7 lots available. Vintage Japanese, 25 beads per each. Let's see here. Norma says, I got a request from a woman in my church to make a necklace for her 8-year-old great-granddaughter who's into soccer and ballet, so I'm thinking about that. Nice. That's awesome. I like when y'all get requests from people because that means that, you know, they people trust you and they admire what you do, as they should, because y'all make beautiful things. That means a lot, right? People trust you with making things for them. It always is a good feeling, I think. Okay, let's see here. GVA 22. Where am I here? What am I doing? Okay. I've got 4 of these available. These are $12 a strand. And these are amazing. I'm gonna have to show you all of them. And these are super good deals, by the way. These are made in Western Germany. Made in Western Germany. So these are vintage German. And oh boy, let me show you. This is we have 4 strands of this available, and these strands, these are these little vintage plastic from Western Germany. They look like this, and these strands are, if I can find my ruler to get you a measurement, these strands are very long. 12, 24, 36. They're 3-foot strands. 3-foot strands. And there are 4 strands available. 3 feet for only $12. That is an exceptionally good deal. Made in Western Germany. When Germany was divided. One of them still has the tag left on it. GVA 22, $12. That's a really good deal. I'm sorry, there are actually 5 of those available. I was just looking, I was like, I've still got one in there. 5 of those available. GVA 23. like I've got 22 strands of these total. And these are $3 a strand. GVA 23 are these vintage check glass, black with the metallic blue finish. So there are, for example, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 strands here. They're shorter strands, not 3 feet, but they are approximately 6-inch strands. 6-inch strands for $3. GVA 23. And these are about 3mm beads. 22 is, Julie says, keep losing my connection. 22 is Western German vintage plastic, 3-foot strands of these ring beads. So they're a loop ring. They're 3 feet long, $12, made in Western Germany. GVA 23 are these check glass beads. 22 strands available, $3 a strand. Julie says, super cool, thanks. They are super cool. These are super cool. They're one of my favorite things. If those go to the online store, they will definitely be worth more in the online store than $12, because that's a super cheap price for you all only. Once these move, and once I get pictures of everything and move them to the online store, that's probably going to be double that price. Put some of these away. Unless we sell out, of course. If you all buy them up, then they won't go half price. But unless you do, they're going to go half price. We've sold some of the 23s. Thank you so much. No one's jumping on the 22s. I'm really surprised. Sometimes I'm surprised by what sells and what doesn't sell. I thought those would sell real quick, especially the quantity you're getting for the price. But, it's alright. Can't get everything, right? Maybe some people can. Send them over if you can. You know somebody who can take everything? Give you a real good deal on everything. Alright, let's see here. Oh no. There's 10 of those. A lot. Dropped a strawberry. Alright. Anybody have any other questions on anything that I've been showing? Happy to answer anybody's questions on anything I'm showing here. I've got questions. No questions, says Kimberly. Okay. Alright, let me just get this together. Move these around a little bit, and then I'll be showing you some more. Sorry for the delays in between. It's hard when there's only one of us to do all this sometimes, but we'll get through. Hope you don't mind. Actually, what is 21? 21 is vintage Japanese glass. Vintage Japanese glass. So these are about 7, I think. What did I say? 7 to 7.5 millimeter vintage Japanese glass rounds in bright yellow, which I love because it's very hard to find that bright yellow sometimes. And this is per pair. That's pretty easy. Alright, that's 19. Pam just said number. I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means, Pam. Okay. Okay. What do I got next? GVA24 coming up. Ooh, these are vintage fire polished beads. Baby, baby. They're super pretty. Make sure I got the right number here. There's 4 of these available. Sanders says, what is GVA 22? Is that everybody asking 22 again? They look like this. They're a vintage plastic ring. You can use them for whatever you want, but yes, you could put a bead in there if you wanted to. The hole size on this is approximately exactly 10 millimeters. So you'd have to do a stone that was below 10 millimeters, but like an 8 millimeter round in there where you could float, like that's a 7.5 millimeter in there, and you could float those in there. Or I think they would be really cool if you had like saucer beads, something a little bit oval shaped, or some bicones. You know, it'd be really pretty in there are those Jonquil S-word crystal bicones we had the other day, the yellow. I think that would be fun. But these are a 3 foot, not 3 inch, 3 foot strand of these vintage Western German vintage plastic rings. I'm going to call them rings, even though they're thicker on one side than the other. Yeah, they are hard to see. I don't know how else to do it because they're all tied together, and if I pull them apart, what if I just kind of do this? I want you to know though that you get the whole strand of them. Maybe I can pull, let me see if I can kind of pull one. Maybe we'll do something like this. Maybe like that. Is that better? I don't know. Probably not, but this is what they 36 inches of bead frames, exactly, Kimberly. So like that, and that's where you could float a bead in there, play around with that, right? All different things you could play around with. Got some nice gemstones. They'd be a nice little frame for gemstones. Imagine, I don't think I have any head pins here. But if you put these on a head pin, let me see if I've got a head pin anywhere within reach. I'm like kind of boxed in up here. have a head pin, but I have silver wire. So, like, you could do, now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera, obviously. But, like, imagine making those into the coolest earrings with that retro vibe. You got the Western German plastic with the vintage Japanese bead, for example. And just imagine those as earrings. Super cool, super easy, really fun. And you get 36 inches of them, which I don't know how many beads it actually is, but it's a lot. They would be pretty with a labradorite or a moonstone in the middle, absolutely. Sandra says spinner earrings, right? Exactly. What if, like, you could play with a bunch of different things. I don't know. I don't know, those wouldn't work. They're a little bit too big. Oh, here, let's see. Like, I have this moonstone. I'm not going to cut the strand apart, but you can imagine it with some moonstone in there. If you had a round, that would be even nicer. Or a faceted round in there to put in there. I'm just trying to grab things that I have around me because I don't have access to a lot right here where I am. How about something like this is a glass pearl, a vintage glass pearl. You could put in there. So you could really play around with this. I think they're super cool. But I'm going to stop playing around because we haven't sold a single one of them. And y'all don't seem to be interested in them, really. You're interested in what they might be, but not really. So I'm gonna move on. These are large strands of vintage fire polish check glass, and we're gonna do these for only $5 a strand. And they're kind of a green-gray color. Kind of a green-gray. Let me see. Let me pull one out here and tie it up so you can see. Maybe. Of course, I'm trying to do this around the camera, which never works. So let me pull this out. Because these, I know, are very, very, they like to fall apart. So this is GVA 24. These are pretty much double strands because we usually sell them for about $5 or $6 for half of this amount. So these are kind of a green-gray, fire polished check glass. Beautiful color. Only 4 strands of that available. $5 each. $5 each. We've sold one of those so far. Thank you so much. Okay, I shouldn't even try this one. I shouldn't even try this because you didn't go for the other ones, but maybe this color you'll like. Let's see here. I have 4 strands of this available. $12 a strand. This is the clear version. Vintage Western German, vintage plastic, clear, 3 feet long per strand, 4 strands available. That's going to be hard to see. Let me see if I can do anything about that or not. GVA 25. 4 of those available. GVA, same size as the black. Got 7 of these available. They're $6. GVA 26. This is a whole bag. You get 60 of them in the bag of these cobalt blue with a metallic finish. So you get 60 of them in a bag. They're vintage Czech glass, and they are 7mm faceted rounds. Beautiful. So that is more than a strand for sure for $6. If we have to strand these up to sell them online, the price goes up. Just so you know, y'all get the best prices because you don't have to do all that work. Beautiful. And just imagine these, for example, in like these clear ones. How pretty would that be? GVA 26. I'm going to put these back in the bag so I don't make too much of a mess. GVA 26. Sold one of those, 2 of those, so we have 5 of them still left. Let's see what I've got for 27. Running out of room everywhere. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got 4 strands of these. These are black, beautiful black Czech glass vintage beads. These are, wow, only $3.75 a strand. These strands are, these are 6-inch. Nope, 8-inch. Yeah, about 8-inch strands of 7mm faceted rounds in the jet black vintage Czech glass. GVA 27, $3.75. Okay, I have to clear the decks a little bit. I'm getting claustrophobic over here. Let's see, where are my bags? Bags. Sold 2 of the 27 so far. Thank you so much. Let's put some room up here. Pretty blue, says Pam. They are. They're super pretty blue. Putting back the vintage Japanese 7mm rounds. Still got a few of those available. Put back the big 3-foot strands of the black greens. I'm gonna put back these little, boy, wouldn't these and these and these go really well together, right? Look at all these with those, with those. What a beautiful combination. Different sizes, different colors, but all blending, matching together. And let's see here. That was for those, that was for those. Where's my bag for those? Find a bag for those. Here we go. Yay, 24. All right. 25 are these. 26, we're going to move up here. 27, we're going to move up here. GVA 28. Some of my all-time favorite beads I've ever had. I've got 2 of these available, and they are $10 each. These are vintage Japanese. They are vintage plastic Japanese, but they're like these glitter balls. They've got like the glitter confetti in them. They're like half and half, but not all of them are exactly half and half. But they're really, really, really neat. Like, I've never seen anything like this before. And they are made in Japan. And they are approximately 8mm. So fit them in. I think if you put them in with the black ones, they would be really cool. And says, I got those glitter balls really pretty and unique in person. Yes, they are. Thank you for saying it too. They are super cool, very different. I've only got 2 strands of these, and they're long strands for what they are. They're about 22-inch strands. 22-inch strands, GVA 28. One of my favorite beads ever. I love these because they're super cool, super different. GVA 29. We just sold one of the 28s. Only one left. If you're on the fence, don't wait. I don't know if we'll ever see those again. That's the thing about this stuff. This is all vintage. We may never see any of these ever again. and especially at these prices, because we got some really good deals in some of these. Andrew struck a bargain, and we may never be able to get these again, period, and especially at these prices again, period. Like GVA 29. Who else is going to sell you beautiful strands of check glass for $3 a strand? We've got 9 strands available. These are 8-inch strands. This really pretty peachy color. Let's see if I can pull one of these out so that I can show you one. Sometimes they come apart easily, sometimes they come apart in a mess. These are old cotton cords they're on. So let me show you, that'll make it easier to show you one. That's what you get. And look at how, those look luxurious. Like, those are really nice quality check glass vintage beads. They are 7.5 millimeters by about 8. And they're only $3 per strand. GVA 29, 9 strands available. Now 7 strands available. Thank you so much for grabbing those. Let's see here. And you will notice the prices are, I think, really good. Sometimes they're better on some than others. Oh no! Well, that one doesn't want to come off the string. So that's going to have to go into a bag. I prefer them when they stay on the strand because people seem to like them better when they're stranded up. And I just dropped the whole strand on the floor. So there's one less strand of these than there were before. And I'm just going to take that out of there. I'm going to show you the whole hank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. GVA 30. And these are $5 a strand. And we've got 8 of them, I think, if I'm right. Nope, forgot. I just dropped one. 7 of them available. And these are these pretty blue check glass. And those are, I think, 14-inch strands for $5. Is that not a deal? 14-inch strands for $5. And these are 5 millimeters by 7. 5 by 7 millimeters. GVA 30. $5 a strand. Alright, let me make some room here. Where is my bag for those? There it is. Are they rice shaped? They're faceted rice shaped, yes. Yeah, these ones. There you go. And let's put 26 away. And we're going to put 27 away. It says, thought so, absolutely stunning. Yes, they are. These are some good items. We've still got 1 of 28, surprisingly. 1 of 28, I think, still left. We've got 29. We've sold 4 of 29, so we've got 5 of those left. And on 30, we've got 5 of those left as well. We're going to go, I think, to 40 tonight. So thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I like these too. These are super fun. There are only 2 of these. These are a faux coral vintage plastic. They were 10. I'm going to make them 8 tonight just because there's only 2 left. These were made in Hong Kong. And they're a vintage plastic faux coral. Giant strands. These are very long strands again. 12, 13, 14, 15. Those are about 30 to 31 inch strands. Faux coral chips. And I think they look really good for faux coral. For those of you who don't want to use coral, it's a very good imitation. And they're about 7.5 millimeters. And we got 2 strands of them. GVA 31, $8 now. 2 of them available. Suzanne says, I have one of the faux coral. They are great, aren't they? They're hard to at even close up, but at a distance for sure. Just look at they look a lot like coral, like. And some coral, you know, is treated like that so that it has that shiny appearance. So it's really hard to tell. Chris says, is the coral plastic or shell? It is plastic. These are plastic beads. Hard to tell, right? Plastic beads. Super duper light. Of this one, so we're going to price it good for you. I have 24 of these available. GVA 32. We've got these vintage, and these are, you can see the old tag, vintage Japanese teardrop beads in white, and these are approximately 6 millimeters by 8, 6 by 8 millimeters. It's priced per strand. I've got 2 strands here. And these strands are approximately, let's see here, where am I? 5.5, so about 11-inch strands. Approximately 11-inch strands. Vintage Japanese white teardrop beads. Glass. They are glass. It's not easy to find white glass sometimes. Put it with the turquoise, says Pam. With either one of these with turquoise would be pretty, right? Let's see here. I'm trying to find some interesting. Oh. Let's see. What do we have on these? Of these available, and only $3 a strand. GVA 33 is this. I'm showing you a number of strands here, but it's this Montana blue, check glass, fire polished, vintage check, in that Montana blue color. That's one strand. And that's what, an 8-inch strand? Yeah, an 8-inch strand for $3. And these are fire polished, about 4 millimeters by, 4. Fire polished, check glass. Let me show you. It's kind of that sapphire blue or blue-gray color. Not an easy color to find, I would say these days. So if you like that color, this is a really good deal. $3 a strand, 18 strands available. Again, all our very best prices for those who watch the lives. If these go into the physical store or into the online store, it takes more work. If I gotta undo them all and restring them sometimes and take pictures of everything, the price goes up. That's just the way it works. That's the way it works. Oh, these are cool. Speaking of white beads, not always easy to find. Let's see here. I have 6 lots of these available. GVA 34, $3 a lot. Are these white? I think these are check. I'm pretty sure these are check. And you get the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. 12 of them for $3. I have 6 lots of those available. 14 millimeter white glass rounds. I'm going to move these up a little bit because I know they're in the comment section down there. And while you're looking at those, I've also got, let's see, GVA 35, which are also $3. But let's see here. How many of these do I have? I have 8 of these. GVA 35 also, but you get 30 of them, and they're the smaller size. These are 10 millimeter. You get 30 of them for $3. That's wild. Is that 10 cents a bead? Did I do my math right? Vintage check glass. Alright, so let me put some stuff away. I'm running out of room anyway. We still have one, surprisingly, we still have one of these GVA 28s. Don't sleep on those. If you do, I may just keep the last one myself, actually. GVA 29s, last look at these. We still have a few of those left. My bag for those. GVA 30, these blue check glass rice faceted beads. And where's my bag for those? Here we are. All right, let's move 31 up here, 32 up here, 33 up here, 34 over here, and 35 up here. Okay. GVA 36. Ooh, whoa, get back here. That was a long strand. Got 6 of these available. $4 a strand. Is this gray fire polished. It's kind of like a charcoal gray or a smoky quartz gray fire polished check glass strand, and it's a very long strand. Let's see. This is about 19 inches. And these are about 4mm fire polished check glass beads. $4. Y'all. $4. You know what fire polish goes for these days? Not $4. So that's that. 6 of them only available. GVA 37. What's next? There's $4. 10 of these available. 37 is this beautiful bronzy color, fire polished. It almost has, I think it has a little bit of purple in there too, which is really pretty. But I think those would go really well. Let's see if I can find them from last night. Oh, I think, yeah. So last night we had these, and I think those would look really good together. So last night these are these Picasso with the table cut rounds to give them a 3-sided look. But look how those would go really well together. It's GVA 37, 4mm. If you're interested in these table cut rounds, they were LGV 31 from last night. $4.50 for a bag of 25 of them. And just to give you an idea what they really look like. So see what I mean? They were a round bead that was Picasso finished, and then they table cut it on 3 sides, quote unquote sides of the round, to give it more of a triangular shape. Hello, Liana. Thank you for joining us. GVA. Are you one of Kimberly's friends too? Kimberly bringing all the people, all the peeps to the yard. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This is yes. Well, thank you for being here. Let's see. I've got 7 of these lots available, and they are only $2. Who wants ketchup beads? That's what these remind me of. Ketchup beads. They're bright orange. They're not really ketchup colored. But they're bright orange. And I've buried my, there it is. They're about 7.5 millimeters. Liana says, I am observing tonight. Thank you for observing. GVA 38. And we've got 7 of those available. The reason I say they're ketchup is because we also have mustard. GVA 39, $2, and I've only got 1 of these available. So here they are together. Are they more of a red-orange, asked Kimberly, as opposed to what? We've just sold 39 and 1 of the 38s. Thank you so much. So 39 is sold out. I've got no more of those now. So let me put that away. Still another one of the 38s. Yep, ketchup and mustard is in it. I know, that's exactly what I think about every time I see those together. I won't see them together anymore though, because we're out of the mustard. Sold out. Thank you so much. And what, I got 1 more lot to go? I said I'm going to 40. GVA 40. Kimberly missed 39. Yeah, you missed 39. Asking those questions, right? How about these? These are cute. Let me see how many of these I've got on my spreadsheet left. Nine of these left. $3 each. That's what I get for being inquisitive, right? They just don't look bright orange on my screen. Yeah, they're pretty orange, but they are definitely reddish orange. Now we have these. So these are GVA 40. You get 60 of these little beads. So 60 of these, and these are little bicones. Boy, they're hard to grab too. They're about 4.5 millimeter. And to show you the difference, Well, there's not much of a difference. But the 38 is a little tiny bit more orange. I thought there'd be more of a difference, but on screen there's really not. The GVA 40, I'm going to put these back in the bag before I dump them everywhere. You get 60 of them for $3. GVA 40, tiny little 4.5 millimeter, kind of red orange bicones. They're like a shade darker than, I don't know if they'll look, you can see they're just a tiny hair darker, more red than the larger ones. All right. And okay, so let me put these back. And what I'm going to do is, for those of you who want to hang out and see some of the stuff from last night, I'm going to do just a real quick run through, because I'm not going to take too much time. I'm getting hungry, but I'm going to do a quick run through for those of you who missed last night or missed some things last night. If you want to stay, you can stay. If not, have a great night and a great weekend. Sorry, I'm counting so I can put these back. Who's staying? Who's going to stay and watch? Who's saying good night? All right, we have a number of things starting to sell here as I'm putting them away. Suzanne's saying good night. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Suzanne. Norma's saying good night. Have a great weekend as well. You too, Norma. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you all so much. Let's see here. Okay, putting these away, and then we will jump into some of the stuff from last night. If anybody is remaining watching with me, if nobody's here, I will go make some dinner. But if you want to see what we did last night, feel free to hang out. We are night people, so it doesn't hurt me to stay here a little later. Deanna's saying good night, but I'm sure I'll be back. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for being here. If you see anything you like, send us an email. Easy to claim. Good prices on everything, I think. I hope you think these are good prices. I think they're really good. And let's see here. We appreciate you all joining us, hanging out. Please like and share and subscribe to us. That really, really helps. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the little bell so you get notifications. We go live every weekday at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you can join us any weekday. Sometimes we do tutorials and things, demos too. And usually we have at least a selling show every weeknight. But sometimes we mix it up and do, tutorials and all that stuff with it. This is mostly how we stay in business with our small business, is by doing these lives. So we appreciate you all who take part and hang out with us. We also have an online store at allegorygallery.com with a lot of great vintage items in it and modern items as well. We're not just vintage, we just happen to be doing a lot of vintage tonight and last night. And we'll stick around because I forgot that number for those beads. I'll give you that number again. I have to, this one. So last night's lots were LGV instead of GVA, which is tonight. LGV, this is 37. You get these 14 of these little Beach ball beads. Leona says, I've ordered findings from your website. I'm sure I will. I thought your name looked familiar. Thank you. We do Andrew and I do everything. So we generally get to know our people pretty well if we see your name a few times, because we don't have anyone else. Our business is just ours. We try and rock it out, and we try and do our best. Keep everybody happy. Good prices, good things. All right, what is still available? I can't believe we still have one of these. This was. Now I'm going to do these quick, and I'm not going to keep them on the table. So be quick if you'd like to claim these. All right. Let me go back to, these are LGV. Let me make sure. Whoops. I do absolutely have these before I say anything. I think I pulled everybody's stuff, but just in case. Yep. I've got 2 of these little bats. And this is, I first heard of your website from Danielle Wicks. We love Danielle. I'm going to get in touch with her again a little bit. I thought, yeah, I was going to ask if you came from that time period, because there was a time period we got 2 kind of waves of people from her website, or from her lives, and then our other new friend Jolie also sent some people over, and that was great too. These are LGV 46, $3.50 each. They're bat stampings in brass from the USA. She's a very sweet and talented lady, says Leona. Yes, she is. Super sweet. Super sweet. We're so lucky to consider her a friend. Kimberly says, yep, that is when I came over. I don't think I realized that. I don't think I realized that. Okay, so that's those. And what are y'all, the people who are left here, what are y'all interested in? I can go over some of our metal stuff that we have left. Bought a bunch of those findings from that kit she did. Oh, good. Well, thank you. Never know where we're going to find our friends from, right? These are $3.50 a pair. These are these wishbone charms, so for good luck, but they have the 4-leaf clover in the wishbone, doubly good luck, and you get 2 of them, so quadruply good luck for only $3.50 a pair. $3.50 a pair. That's LGV 42. Like I said, I'm going to go through these quick. So we did do them yesterday, and you can always watch the replay if you want. One thing that we never sell enough of, for me, is though the y'all like the monkeys? No, hardly anybody bought any monkeys yesterday, and I was super. I wasn't stressed about it, but I was a little concerned. I don't know why people don't like the monkeys. Susan says, have a great night, everybody. You too, and a great weekend. LGV 44, $5 a pair. These are the See No Evil monkeys. Aren't they super cute? They're on front and back. See No Evil monkeys. These are charms from the USA. Brass stampings. They're a hollow charm. And they're $5 a pair. LGV 44. So those are the See No Evil. We also have, what's this one? This one's the Speak No Evil. We have them all. Hear no, see no, speak no. So this is the Speak No Evil. Monkey Charms. LGV 45. Are those. This is the Speak No Evil. And uh-oh. Where are my other ones? There they are. These are the Hear No Evil, LGV 4030. These are the Hear No Evil monkey charms. Got his little hands over his ears. So you get 2 of those for $5. United States vintage brass stampings. Providence. From Providence. Alright, what else is fun? We've got LGB 47. These are the mermaid stampings. $4.75 each. LGV 47 mermaid stampings. What were the 3 numbers for those charms? 43, 44, and 45. 43, 44, 43, 44, 45. For the monkeys. This is 47. Mermaid. Let's see here. I love these. We sold a few of them, but not a lot. These are the vintage Japanese sequin balls. So they're vintage Japanese sequins turned into vintage Japanese sequin balls with bails. You get a pair of them for $2, and that's LGV 25. They're super pretty. They're a gray sequin, like a gray AB. $2 a pair, LGV 25. We're doing like rapid fire. We don't usually go this fast. But because these are all things from last night, we're just doing it quick like a bunny. We have these beautiful pink beads. I love these. These are one of my favorites of these vintage lots. These beautiful pink. Look at the light that they catch. They are. Look at the glow. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can. There you can see it. I gotta move the light up here to get them higher. But they have such a glow to them. And then sometimes you'll get a little bit of each that are more opaque. But just really pretty pink beads. LGV 14. 14 on those. You get 5 of them for $6. And I think we've only got 2 lots of those left. Let's see. Oh, for those of you who know any fisher people who like to do the fishing, you might like these. These are vintage Western German intaglios. They are rainbow trout. They have been painted hand painted in the back. And they're little cabs or intaglios. There are 2 of them available. They're only $3.75 each. That's a really good price. That is not going to stay that price. They go online. Those are really well done and very intricate. Let's see here. What else do I think is fun? LGV2. LGV2 are these lotus charms. Whoa, get back here. $3.75 each for these brass stamped lotus charms. These are from the USA. Brass stampings. They're stamped and then they're stamped open and then they're folded. So there's like you can see a fold. They're folded together. That's how they do those. And they're hollow, so super light. LGV2, $3.75 each. 2 of them left. And one of my favorites, LGV1, are the yellow pears. The yellow pears. Which pears are yellow? There's a kind that's yellow. I usually eat the d'Anjou, and they're not yellow. But I know there's a yellow. Is it Bosque? What pears are yellow? Anybody know? Anyway, these are yellow pears. Check glass, vintage check. You get 5 of them for $3.15. Let's see. What else is fun? I love these, but they take a certain person that loves them too. I'm that certain person, but maybe you are too. LGV 36 are these. Beautiful beads. $4 for 4 of them. I also have, let me show you all the colors, because you can collect them all if you want to. LGV 39 is the purple with the gold luster. And then, where are my other ones? There they are. 38 is the magenta. So there's a magenta, there's a purple, and there's a green. I think these would make beautiful earrings. I'm probably going to take a few for myself and make some earrings for the store out of these because I think they'd be really cool. Super light. And a lot of younger people are looking at the vintage stuff right now. I've noticed that as people come into the store looking at earrings, they like the vintage stuff. And let's do a few more and then we'll be done. Just a few more. We've got a lot left from last night. I'm not going over everything tonight, but I'm picking some of my favorites. But if you want to check out the entire show, you can watch the replay from yesterday. These are the Egyptian/Art Nouveau charms, which I really think are super cool. See if I can hold that still so you can see how well detailed those are. And those are $4 for a pair. brass stampings. $4 a pair. We've sold a number of those last night. I still have some available. And love these. LGV32 are these fun colored beads. There are 3 different colors. There's the pink, the orange, and the yellow. And they have 2 different colors on each bead. So the orange has a deeper orange and a lighter. The pink has the light pink and then kind of a darker red color. And then the yellow has a yellow and a kind of bright yellow and a darker yellow. Now what I didn't show you today is we also have those in these colors if you're interested. We have just the yellow by themselves. So if anybody's interested in those, then let me know. Brown and yellow beads or just yellow beads. They're all $4 for 14 beads. So those are available. But I just like the fruity, fun colors myself. I mean, I like the other ones too, but I like the fruity fun. And some more monkeys, check glass monkeys. These are LGV9, $6. For the check glass monkeys, you get 12 of them for $6. That's a nice strand length if you figure what a strand would be. There you go. And of course I lost my ruler. There it is. So that comes out to be a 7-inch strand of check glass for $6. Of the monkeys, vintage monkeys. How cool. Love those. And let's see here. Let's do one more. What do I want to pick? What do I really like? I love these. LGV35 are these opalescent vintage check glass beads with the gold. Looks like sun. Looks like sun. Like a sun to me. Kimberly says, I'm thinking a charm necklace with the C here, speak no evil monkeys. Yeah, a charm necklace or a charm bracelet. Charm bracelet would be cute too. But you'd probably see them better on a necklace. Necklace might be a better idea. Could be cute little earrings. But you get 25 of these opalescent glass check glass beads for $6. And I'm going to end there for now. I'm going to end with that for the moment. That was, again, LGV35. And again, if you missed anything yesterday, feel free to check the replay. And we still have a lot of it left from yesterday. We thank you all for hanging out with us today. Really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, just send us an email. Happy to answer those questions in an email. And we'll see you back here on Monday after a weekend. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'm going to go cook some dinner now, if Andrew hasn't started it already. Thank you all. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.